Well, good morning, everyone. My name, actually, before I start with my name, I'd like to introduce all of you to this two set of amazing people that I've had all my life. So, before I introduce them, I've given them a title, The Experiment. And why did I give them this title, or me the title, is because this is what the experiment was. I'd like to introduce you to Shirley and David, my mom and dad. And their experiment, of course, it should be me. And why do I call myself that? It's because when I was born, they initially thought, my dad initially thought, I'd become an engineer, a family engineer. And that's where it all began. He thought I'd become an engineer. Later in life, as I grew, I opted commerce. And that is where my dad was like, okay, do whatever you can. And then my mom, since I opted commerce, escalated this expectation to chartered accountancy. But all this while, I had dreams of my own. I started thinking to do something beyond the orthodox split. And most part, I believed that I'd be able to do it, right? I thought chartered accountancy is the way forward. I listened to my dad and mom, and I went ahead with it. I started my career in the field of CA right after my 12th grades. And that is where it all began, 5 years of studies, last year of my articleship, and between my articleship, I was going through all of this. That is me, by the way, with 4 pens in my pocket. I don't know why. I have no idea why. I have all the 4 colors in my pocket, right from blue to red to black to green. And in between all of this struggle, that is me sitting in an office, and that is me in my classes at 6 in the morning. It was a struggle. And it just built up over a period of time, the frustration, and I was actually not enjoying it while I was doing it. While I studied, it was fun, and when I started working for it, it kind of, I lost touch with it, and I thought of just, exploring more. And the phase of exploration began. While I was frustrated throughout all of this, I used to meet with my friends, and I used to talk to them every day and tell them what exactly is what I'm going through. And then we started off, shooting things, clicking pictures, making short videos, and that is where my exploration towards photography began. It began and it grew to such an extent that in all my audits, I used to click more of pictures and less of audits. So at the end of the day, when I used to come back to work, they're like, what happened to the audit? It's there, somewhere. So that was my reaction every time. And then with my journey throughout this field, this is one rare picture where I was actually happy, I don't know why was I happy. One day in my life I was happy that day, I don't know why. Probably one of the one day which didn't really hit me. And then, as I moved ahead, one day in my life I went to my mother and I told her, Mom, I really don't think that this is working. I want to do something else, I want to pick up photography. And the day I told my parents that I want to pick up photography, they did the most Malayali thing possible. They sent me to Dubai. This right away sent me to Dubai, the land of tall buildings and Malayalis all around. And I was there for good 3 months. Good 3 months, trying to fetch myself a job, understand the life. And that was the first time wherein I was actually all by myself. And this got me to realize, every night before I used to sleep, I used to ask this question to myself, is this really what I want to do? What if I could make my living out of doing something that I actually love, right? 3 months of this thinking, aggressive thinking, and I came back to India. I came back to India and that was the inception of things. I initially thought I'd start my journey in my hometown. And I again put forward this thought in front of my parents. They were a little skeptical, so I took the path. I took the path when I had to go alone. I moved from my hometown and landed in Bangalore in 2017. A full-time job in a PR agency. Should you ask why PR? I was honestly intimidated by it. I was like, the amount of contacts that one could build in this particular profession is endless. Every day is a new day, every day you meet someone new, big, small, you have no idea, right? So, things like these. And then, 1 year I was working in this firm, and later I realized I have to do something better, something bigger. And I was managing with minimum finances while I was working at this PR firm. And then the job opportunity popped up, and I took it. I currently work in a corporate organization, and it's been 2 years. I have no complaints whatsoever. The point is, why did I tell you all of this? And when I took up the corporate job, by the way, my parents did have that told you so face, right? And then, you go through it. While I took this job, I realized that finance is something which we all need to manage. There is a practical side of things which you need to consider. Believe in yourself is absolutely right. But while you move forward and take that risk, that leap of faith, take a calculated risk. You need to know when you go out in the world, there are certain costs that you have to incur, there are certain bills that you have to pay. I don't have a house in Bangalore, so there's a monthly rental which I have to pay every month, right? So what I did was I took my orthodox values, combined them with my unorthodox perspectives, and moved ahead in my life. And that is how I am in the stage where I am. Yeah. So this is the inception of photography, where I started off, and these are the regular clicks that any amateur photographer would take. Would go around the camera and click plants, trees, reflections, photographs, do some technical stuff. That is actually a mobile light, which you see. This is a mobile torch stuck and moved in between my friend and me. And I used to do these small things. This is all done in my house. That also on my bed, that in the garden. So simple things, right? And then I moved ahead. I started exploring around. That is the shot that I took in Goa. This is the shot of a friend of mine in my suit, and this is another friend of mine who was performing. So I took the shot for him. But these are the things wherein I was clicking pictures without knowing or implementing a story in it. These are just pictures. A friend playing, a friend sitting, and a guy riding his buffalo, right? So I wanted to implement stories in my picture so that these pictures mean something. One frame could tell it all, right? And that's why I moved ahead. This is that one picture which actually moved me. I called it the cup of creativity. Why? Because in my imagination, I imagined this shot to be a cup of tea in my hand. While this is a lens, wherein I have reflection of the mesh up top on my lens glass. So I somehow imagined this to be, and I called it, would you like to have a cup of creativity with me? And that's the first story that I implemented in one story, one image. And that kind of got to people hooked up to it, and they're like, yeah, this is kind of making sense. There is story, there's an emotion attached to one image, which is what we all need to do. If I can speak so much in one image, believe me, the people who create movies, they are amazing. They just go all in, right? They have so many frames. Moving forward, the present. How did this all change? How did I convince my parents to, just listen to me and, understand what I'm trying to say? So the biggest change that happened was this. I got my first feature in Google, and that was the weekend. The competition was focused on the weekend. And when this happened, I was kind of emotional. I went back to my mom and I told her that something like this has happened. And she saw it, she saw the Google's name, the Google handle name on top of my image. And that was the first time she gave me these 4 words. You are doing well. Right? Probably the only validation I was looking for all this while, probably in my 5 years of journey. And those 4 words really hit me hard. And that is where I actually started taking photography really seriously. I really started working hard, and I thought, let me do something really serious about it. But of course, with keeping my job in hand. Because if I jump all in again, I'm back to zero, to start all over again. So every day, Monday to Friday, I used to work. Fridays and Saturdays, the day which I have to myself, I had a choice. Either I go out, party, clubs, and chill out with friends. That was one option. The option 2 was to go out and do something. Not really the perfect image which I meant, but yeah. Things you do to get a perfect image, right? And if you move ahead, the next image is what I linked to the artist and the art meme these days. That is me, that's me lying on the street, to be very honest. Clicking that one leaf picture, and this is what the outcome was. Right? Things you do to get that perfect image, it's countless. you would, if you see me one day on the street, you would literally see me lying on the road. I'm not even like, kidding. All the images that you see across, which I will show you, are taken from an angle where you think, how was he sleeping on the road? How? But I legit was sleeping on the road. So these things. Now, on Fridays and Saturdays, what I do is I take up courses online. I learn the art better. The idea was not to jump all in because the competition is really high. All of my friends, I'm telling you, the competition is really high, the stakes are high, and you can't just jump all in. You need to get your basics correct. Because it's better, right? You move ahead in the field, you should know everything. One fine day, you should not be like one random person talking, what is the exposure? They're like, oh. So, that's what I'm trying to say. You need to know it, right? So, I take classes, I take my bike, it doesn't matter how far, I live in Bangalore, I travel 50 kilometers one way, with a tripod in my hand, with a full backpack of camera lenses and everything, and I ride all my way through 50 kilometers, attend a photo walk, come back. But the beauty of all of it is I meet amazing set of people. I see what they see, and that is what helps me to implement those things in my photography, right? And as I moved ahead, these are the photos that I've taken, right? The first image is a OnePlus phone, kept upside down, reflecting the beach on the phone's back, right? That's the first one. The second one, any guesses? What could this be?
Coffee.
Exactly, that's coffee. All it took me was a hot cup of water, coffee powder, and voila. The third one, any guesses?
Esophagus.
That's a medical student. No, that's Fanta. The bottle Fanta. I named it, what a fantastic image. So, this is again moving ahead. Images like these, right? The first one, again, reflection of the sea, a person standing in the center on my phone. Click through another phone. The second one is my bhaiya sitting right behind the table. There's a vase with water in it, and all I did was put clouds inside the bottle. And it kind of makes sense, right? It kind of builds a story around. As if maybe he's sulking down, maybe it's something positive, maybe he's rising from the water, of the depressions, whatever. It's your story, I have created mine. It's up to you. So that's what I try to do. I try to, hit that nerve in your head. Then you're like, I have to think about this one. Right? The third one, very simple image. I woke up early morning at 6 in the morning. I walked out of my room and I saw this streak of light falling in my hall from the window. All I did was kept my glass of water at the center. And the magic just happened. Right? The reflection, the light is just plain water. That's all. Moving ahead, these are the images that I took while I travel across. I love traveling, obviously, because that somehow matches with the photography bit. But my message is clear. You don't have to travel out to create something amazing. You can do things at your home itself. That was the slide the previous slide told. Like the previous slide told you about that bit. This is where I traveled to Kodaikanal, Bali, and this is my office. The first office that I worked in. That's my colleague. And if you're thinking what this is the tissue paper room. More images that I picked throughout. There's a friend of mine who's smiling right across. There's another friend of mine who's sitting there. I saw her smiling on her watch. And I clicked it through her watch. Right? Simple reflections, but then they try to tell you a story. I called it timeless. Because it's smile. This is another image which I clicked, which is of a friend of mine, and that is where I actually realized photography touches people. You give them something which lasts them for a lifetime. He bought a new car, I clicked a shot for him. This was his wallpaper for straight 3 years. Like, he loved his car. Right? And this is one image which is really close to me. I was actually shooting out for lots of people for some workshop, and this particular person, she was dancing there. And while people were really away from the stage, not to bother her, I was the one who was actually bothering her. I was straight down on the stage where she was actually doing this step. I bent down as well, and I took this shot of the reflection of her with the wood. So things like these, right? You have to take the effort. It will not happen on its own, right? And then the next image. this. This is something that I shot in some station across India. I don't know which one. But what I'm trying to say is, keep it simple. Don't fall into the trap of exposure, adjustments, all of that. Do what you have to do with one of the best cameras that you have in your hand. What I have in my hand is the one that I have in my pocket, the mobile phone. All of these images that you've seen are all shot on phone. All of them. Right? So, simple thing. You can't really expect a camera to be with you at this point of time. This moment will go away. By the time you take out your camera, prepare the lens, adjust the exposure, this is gone, she is gone, the trick is gone. What do? You quickly brought your phone, click a picture, edit it beautifully, and this is what you get. Right? Simple things. Again, more shots, all shot on phone again. So my message is take calculated risks. Move ahead in life. Try to step out of that comfort zone that you're in, but do it. Like if you're one of those people to whom the parents do not support in the initial stages of your life, take it. Do what they ask you to do, and then make your move. Because it's your dream end of the day. Why should your parents pay? Simple. It's your dream, you work for it. Be it from the scratch, you do it. They did what they had to. They had a vision for you, they gave it to you. You took it ahead. What you do when you start getting those salary credits is up to you. Right? And that's how we go about it. These are more images that you see. I really want you to guess what this last image will be. To be honest, I'll tell you, it's a vessel. So the water dispenser that I have, it was leaking. What I did was I kept a vessel right beneath it because there was a lot of water in my house. I kept it right beneath it, and one day, night around 2, I wanted to drink some water. I stepped it, and I saw it. I just randomly hit the flash, and I saw this image. It's water droplets in a vessel. I clicked it, and it really looked good to me. The middle one, is a friend of mine. He's standing inside a lift. That's a lift. I just edited and deleted everything which was not necessary. It's a space, the chandelier's reflection. And this is again a person walking right next to me. If I'm able to take this shot, imagine what position I'm in. Again on the streets, guys. Again on the streets. So all in all, what I'm trying to say is, I believe that the experiments that Shirley and Dave initially did, they are happy, right? And that's been my time. Give it a round of applause. Thank you so much.